This is GRL Raw, the podcast where the GRL team tells you why they're different. Who the hell are they? Why should you want them fighting for you? The industry leader in law with over 180 years of combined experience. This team is here to shed light on crucial topics in law to keep you aware and informed, because it comes back to the primary point. We give a damn.
Welcome to gotta restart that. Season 2, episode 7. We're titling this one Surviving Slumlords.
Literally surviving slumlords.
Literally surviving slumlords. But we're also tagging this one as our second annual college move-in special.
Because
Do tell.
slumlords.
Prey on college kids.
Yes.
Now, in getting ready, as we always do, did some research.
We did.
You know what the definition of slumlord is?
I do not.
I do.
I figured you would.
Ready? It's a absentee landlord with multiple properties
Yep.
who attempts to maximize profit
Okay.
by minimal maintenance of the property, oftentimes preying on tenants they can intimidate.
Wow. Fits right into our current event, huh?
Current event and college landlords.
Yeah.
And so as everybody's getting ready to pack their kids up, take them to college, move them in to their exciting new apartment.
Yep.
There's some things that we absolutely want to warn people about, and I don't think we could have a more clear, catastrophic example of what happens when people put profit over safety
Yep.
than what we're going to talk about with the Davenport disaster.
Yep.
So to kick it off, what we got? What is the disaster in Davenport?
The disaster in Davenport has made national news, which
As
is
it should.
Yeah, and a sad event for Iowa. But slumlord in Davenport has a apartment building called the Davenport Hotel, and years of negligence, failures to maintain the building, not a structurally sound building, collapsed with people inside, and it has really brought to everyone's attention the complete failures of Davenport, this slumlord, and the aftermath has also been disastrous, I would say.
It's kind of fascinating in looking at it, the outside and the front. Beautiful old building is what you think, but hiding underneath it was not
literally
even hiding
falling
underneath
apart.
it. I mean, when you get inside it, when you look at everything, it's doing the research, going through everything. This whole situation was completely avoidable.
It was.
Should never have happened. I look at this as a failure of mankind and municipal government.
Yep.
It's not some freak accident. Oh my
No.
God, how'd this happen? This is just human morality gone bad.
And one of the hardest parts about our job is always to prove, to show, to allege that someone had notice. They've
Knowledge.
been warned.
Yep.
They had knowledge. And this is such a clear example of someone that knew exactly what they were doing and blatantly ignored it.
So I'm sure he subscribes to our podcast.
As he should.
But we have to give a shout out to a guy who did a video showing demonstrating a bunch of the failures leading up to the collapse. Guy's name is Jeff Ostroff.
Yep.
We used that video to help get us prepared. I watched half of it and was absolutely appalled.
It is one of the most disgusting set of facts I've ever seen, and we see some things, but this is people's lives, total livelihood are in someone's hands.
So let's burn some people.
Let's do it.
Let's burn some people with this, digging into the current event of the disaster in Davenport.
Yep.
Start with responsible person number 1 as we're looking at this situation.
His name is Andrew Wald.
W-O-L-D.
Yep, not World, Wald.
Wald.
And he is the owner of the Davenport Hotel apartment, has been since 2020.
Okay.
And they've known that this building was not structurally sound since before 2020. But he owns over $11 million of property in the Davenport area.
Multiple properties.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He fits that check mark.
Check.
Yep.
Okay.
And he, I would say, is going to be primary bad actor in this story.
I think it's scary how much. So he bought the building in 2020.
Yep.
I would assume anytime you buy, not assume, I know when you buy a commercial property,
Yep.
anybody with their right mind has a inspection done.
Yep.
And the inspection then kind of tailors into what you're willing to pay for the building. There's negotiations surrounding that.
Yep.
What we haven't seen yet, with all the information that's been released, is one, was there an inspection done?
Yep.
And then two, what did it have as he's paying millions of dollars, signing his name for millions of dollars to buy this building? What did he know going into it?
And were there any negotiations based on the state of the building for him to save money?
Because that seems to be a theme with these unfortunate cases that we're going to talk to Corey about later on, is that these slumlords go in and buy low, obviously.
Yep.
Their goal is maximize profit, but they buy run-down, dysfunctional buildings
Yep.
at a minimum price, and then put people in them.
Yeah. Families.
Kids,
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
grandparents. Yep. Okay, so what else do we know about Mr. Wold and his involvement in this?
Well, we know that Mr. Wold, since buying the building, has been cited several times for several different things, including multiple citations for the state of the building.
Who regulates that? Is it the police that hand out citations?
City of Davenport. I think one of the commissions was like some neighborhood commission, but it's the City of Davenport.
Every city has a housing and appeals board, or is what it's
Yep.
called in Des Moines, but they have something that does that function. And so the city knew. I mean, they were in and out of this building doing inspections, writing up
On a regular basis.
citations.
Yes.
Not just warnings.
No,
Citations.
also notices to vacate.
What?
Multiple notice to vacate
What do you mean?
the apartment by the city
So-
to the apartment.
So before the building fell down,
Yes.
the city of Davenport had provided legal notice to the residents and the owner that this property needed to be vacated, as in nobody lives in this thing.
Because
Nobody should live in it.
it's because it was years of you need to fix this and years of pushing it off.
And clearly there were people in it.
Yeah.
Not squatters, not people. They were paying rent.
No, they were paying rent.
What was the rent? Do we know what the rent was for like a one bedroom in this place?
Didn't you look it up? Wasn't it like 550 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still, listings are still available on apartments.com if somebody wants to look at it.
We might have to screenshot that. And,
yeah.
upload that. Yeah.
$550 a month. So it's not your West Des Moines condo that you would expect. It's a lower rent building, but it had clear, obvious structural integrity issues since August of 2020, and looking at it, I don't know how this guy was granted a rental certificate.
It's unbelievable. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And since this has happened, he's had multiple they're looking at his other properties now, and multiple other properties are being condemned or notice to vacate for the tenants.
So before we get into what happened with him getting cited for the collapse, because we'll need to move it along. We could spend 2 hours on this, but I found it ironic that in March, before the fall of the collapse of the building, he was cited for like 10, 12, a number of different incidences where he got a citation because his dumpsters were overflowing out of the building.
Just not taking care of the property at all.
Hire
That's
somebody
disgusting.
Hire somebody to take out your trash. Is it that hard?
No.
And then the ironic part of it is when you see the security footage of the building collapse, guess what's still full?
The overflowing garbage.
Yeah. So it wasn't doing anything.
No.
Wasn't doing anything to rectify the situation, which I think is why the city did smack him with a civil infraction right off the bat, right after everything went down. But it's kind of interesting what happened just with a civil citation.
Yeah.
What happened?
So with the civil citation, there were it was a $300 fine ticket citation.
Right.
And there
It's less
were,
than a month's rent for one apartment.
Yes. There were talks of some settlement negotiation, and he was trying to take essentially a guilty plea where you don't make an admission of fault.
And the scandalous part of this,
It's not a criminal case.
right?
First of all.
But let's get the scandal out here.
The scandal.
Who's prosecuting this?
The city of Davenport.
Okay. And were they cool with this guy just going? He was trying to do what's called a nolo contender plea, which we don't have in Iowa.
No.
Doesn't exist in Iowa.
No.
That's a different thing. We don't have it.
Yeah.
And was the city cool with that?
The city was cool with that. And they actually went in front of the judge at a hearing and presented to the judge this deal that they had come up with, that he was going to pay the fine but not admit guilt. And the judge said no. And Mr. Andrew Wald, you are going to appear in front of me. And I thought that was just wild because
So at first they tried to do the nolo contendere. I can't even say that. The plea without plea.
Yep.
But then they also tried to do a default, which is like a traffic ticket. If you don't show up for certain traffic tickets, they just enter the judgment
Guilty
against
by
you.
default, yep.
You don't plead guilty. So he's playing games trying to avoid taking accountability
Yep.
just for a $300 citation.
And he's doing it for money,
Duh.
not the $300.
No. He's trying to protect his insurance company
Yep.
that's going to have to pay out the ass, and probably his another $11 million in
Yep.
assets.
Yeah.
Plus his $2 million mansion he's building.
Yeah, because
forgot to
this
mention
lawsuit is like 3 people died. One of the tenants had to have their leg amputated while the rubble on top of them bad. I can't even imagine. Had to be life flighted out of there, but like it wasn't an amputation in a hospital. It was an amputation at the scene.
To save their
Yep.
life.
And I think it also just shows like that the city of Davenport was going to agree to this.
They were complicit.
They were. And we also have them as, we think, one of the bad actors.
Let's talk about their bad acting.
Yeah. So as the city and the neighborhood commissioner, whoever is issuing the rental certification, has obligations to their people to make sure that there aren't slumlords in their city. And they were an active part in his slumlording.
Because they're the ones that give him legal permission to rent those apartments to people.
Yeah.
So they say, yep, you can put people in these apartments and get paid to do it.
These are safe for them to live in.
We are putting our stamp of approval through this certificate on the safety of this building.
Yep.
And there's inspections associated with getting a rental certificate. If you've ever gone through that process, I know Lindholm rented his house a few times and was mad because he had to change some stairs in his backyard.
That's funny.
I mean, they good inspectors get after it.
Yes. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the guy buys the building in disrepair. They've already been the building was already cited by the city of Davenport before this guy buys it, and then they give him a rental certificate.
Yep.
And then even with the numerous citations, they don't revoke those rental certificates. Let people stay in there. Keep doing inspections. I think there was like August of 2020, November of 2020, July of 2021, November of 2021.
I have a timeline,
Oh, yeah.
and this is just from Davenport, like the inspection timeline.
Yeah,
These
tell
are
us.
all like filings,
Okay.
and I mean, it's like 6 pages long. But yeah, we have August 2020. They recommended basically changing the structure, or at least adding more support. This is when bricks started falling off the building. There were
This is a problem if you're
massive pieces of cement that were about to fall off. If someone's under that, dead instantly. Then starts back up February 2021, multiple violations. But like inspectors, the city, they were in this apartment building weeks before, like the building was falling down, and they all knew
Literally.
it. Literally.
To where right before it fell down, one of the contractors or somebody who had bid on doing some work there actually went to the building and warned the other people that weren't his people.
He told the contractor employees you're going to die if you keep working on this building. Get away. Like, I'm giving you your warning. This isn't worth it. Leave.
As they literally had falling down walls that were propped up with long 2x4s.
Yep. And he knew about the structure of the building because he had bid to the owner $50,000 for all the repair. But
Boy, didn't
Mr.
wanna pay
Andrew
it.
Wald did not want to pay it. So instead, he paid $3,000.
and got a fall down building and a world of shit to go with it.
Is going to pay.
Let's talk about that. So, civil lawsuits aside, when I'm looking at this, I think the guy needs to go to prison.
I do too.
I mean, when you look at how much they knew, if there was a way to make the government agencies responsible as well and send them, give them a taste of prison as well, I think it would be well deserved.
Yeah.
But when we looked at this, I think the only one that could probably legitimately be on the hook, which they are investigating, aren't they?
Yeah. There was a news article yesterday that the DCI is investigating if there's any criminal charges potentially. And
we actually, preparing for this before the DCI news broke, we already had in our head that this dude could get rung up on felony criminal charges.
Yeah.
What? Which ones?
Involuntary manslaughter. And I don't remember. Based on.
I got this.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
So there's two types of involuntary manslaughter.
Yep.
One is the just engaging in reckless conduct that results in the death of another person without committing what's called a public offense.
Okay.
So that would be you're not breaking the law, but you're being a reckless dumbass.
Yes.
And somebody gets killed accidentally, but as a result of your reckless conduct.
Yes.
Maybe firearm issues. You know, you're lawfully shooting out at a range, but you're being a dipshit about it.
Yep.
Hit somebody, kill them. That's where that can come into play. That's an aggravated misdemeanor.
Yep.
Not at the felony level. There's no requirement of prison or anything like that. But that one absolutely would fit.
Yes.
But I'm not happy with just a misdemeanor in this case. I think the dude needs a felony. He needs to be a felon, probably a 3-time felon, because there's 3 people that passed away as a result of his bullshit. So there's a Class D felony involuntary manslaughter.
Yep.
Okay. The Class D felony manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter requires the commission of a public offense in a reckless manner.
Yep.
That's where these citations
are huge.
They're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge. And the notice to vacate is actually the most important.
Yep.
Because the violation of a building code, a municipal code, actually ends up being a civil infraction.
Yep.
Which doesn't qualify as a public offense because you can't get a fine. It's not the same. It's a civil penalty for a municipal infraction. And you can't go to jail, okay? So we need to somehow make his conduct criminal, even at the most basic level, and say that it was recklessly committed.
I think they got it.
How?
Well, because of all of the notice to vacates multiple times. There was one February 9th, 2023 is what I was just looking for, that said it was required that the building be vacated by February 27th at midnight. The building was not vacated.
Was there any extensions granted or any appeals?
There was not any extension granted, but they did. He didn't ask for one, but they ended up giving him another notice to vacate several months later with a different deadline.
So the notice to vacate is where this is where we get them.
Yeah.
So a notice to vacate, a failure to comply with a notice to vacate under the Davenport Municipal Code actually can be charged as a simple misdemeanor offense. A simple misdemeanor offense is the basic low-level but criminal offense in Iowa, punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a fine of up to, they keep changing it, I don't remember what it is.
Like $300 or something?
Yeah, $325 or $305, $592, I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Look at the website, we got it listed. So if that is the predicate, because their death resulted from his disobedience of the notice to vacate.
Yes.
I bet he still collected checks.
Absolutely.
Rent checks during this time.
No doubt.
That qualifies as a public offense.
Yep.
People died as a result of the public offense. That's 1 count of involuntary manslaughter for each individual that lost their life.
Yep.
That is the bare minimum that should happen in this case.
And I think that I fundamentally don't usually think that someone that doesn't have the actual criminal intent should go to prison around criminals. This is an exception.
Put him in a special cell.
Yeah, I feel good about this man going to prison because devastating effects on a community families, they're paying $550 in rent. It's a lower income area. This is absolutely disastrous, and he's got blood on his hands.
He's printing money off of tombstones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that bad.
It is.
He knew what he was doing. He's cashing checks while building the rumor is, I don't know if we've confirmed it, but while building like a $2 million mansion out in the Davenport area.
Yep.
All right. Before
Thanks,
you get,
Reddit.
yeah, thanks, Reddit. But before you get to enjoy that, you're going to go spend some time in Iowa Department of Corrections.
And try to at least make these people whole.
Yeah.
As whole as you can.
I don't think you can in this
No.
situation. This is a classic situation also where punitive damages should be
Yes.
allowable against the municipality.
Absolutely.
Because they absolutely had their thumbs up their
They
asses.
did.
I mean, they're walking around blindfolded because they wanted the tax money.
Yeah.
Think about it. They wanted the income from the $11 million in property. So they're like, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Not a
I mean,
problem.
and how many other slumlords are there in Davenport that have that much property? Like likely not that many, right? He's probably a influential person in that area.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we're going to bring in CF Gorley.
We are.
And we're going to tee up GRL's own special